question mark because the moment this question comes, why imprint?
I don't know whether it's a right or wrong, but definitely
that makes sense.
logic. Yeah, it's a very logic.
A question here, Mujay. Okay, so the imprints are carried by the mental consciousness. If the imprint is legit, and still we say the mental consciousness carries the imprint, the phenomena of disintegratedness, is that also carried by the mental consciousness?
This was also asked.
Yeah.
Can you
Can
just
you
repeat what you said?
Okay, Aditya, to your question, what is this something which is going there? And I think Deveshla asked this, and Deveshla said, the substance, why do you want to substance? Let's say the moment substance of mental moments are there. So in that way, could be not.
No.
Disintegratedness he asked. What is the substance? When you say it's
Okay, let's do the prostrations together. Five-fold. मैं अकेला ही बनता हूँ. I'm the only one. It's being live streamed, so like the Mad King. So whatever. I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the mysteries true. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the mysteries true. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the mysteries true. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the mysteries true. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the mysteries true. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom.
Please take your seats. We start by setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts, keeping in mind both what to visualize and how to visualize it. Visualize the refuge field, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arya Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakirti, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us. looking at us with immense love and kindness, like a parent looks at their only child. The Bodhicitta field, your two kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right, and all the dear kin sentient beings, leaving none aside. They are joining you, and here you are leading them in the practice and looking at them with immense love, kindness. And the purpose of the practice, to manifest the Buddha nature, the seed of perfection inside us, by removing the mental obscurations, the gross ones, afflictive obscurations, consisting of contaminated karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds of the two, and the subtle ones, the cognitive obscurations, the subtle latencies of the afflictive obscurations. Page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Gangi thumse nirsongne tawa thamche pangpe chir thampe choni tonse pe Gautam de la tsakse lo. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. Gangi benjing delwa jung, kappa me pa ke me pa, chepa me pa tak me pa, oma me pa dro me pa, tate dun min dun chik min, chopa nishi shi tempa, zoppe sange manam ki, thampa de la tsakselo. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. Nandha Shiva Solnam Punche Niki Nishe Trize Ghaye Dha Rola Pen Parche Nam Namshe Niki Jikten Dondrok Se Pa Garla Yanda Ten Pa Tu Nam Nam Pa Gunden Natso Di Sompa Nete Jantuk Sense Sokse Sange Kini Yunde La Tsakse Lo. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. Sema Gyurpa Drola Penchepa, Tompa Deshet Kobla Tsakselo. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Tope Drava Nam Selching, Zapching Geche Punawa, Kuntu Zapo Ozerda, Kunne Trola Tsakselo. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye chodam sokye chodam la, chancho bardo dharme kyapso che, Dage jinso gipe sonam ki, drola pencher sange druparsho. Sange chodam soki chodam la, chancho bardu dharmi kyapsochi. Dage jinso gipe sonam ki, drola pencher sange druparsho. Sange chodam soki chodam la, chancho bardu dharmi kyapsochi. Dage jinso gipe sonam ki, drola pencher sange druparsho. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavat hetum tesham tathagato hyavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavat hetum tesham tathagato hyavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavat hetum tesham tathagato hyavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom his teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Sakshi trodel ozel dumaje, dusi tabu choshik kumone, sura shekyan goar minupe, nima namgi natsune barcha. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of the self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. Masam jo me shera parochin, ma ke mi ganam taino oni, so rangri yeshe choyulpa, dyusum gervai tanga chakfelo. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. Lama Sangye Lama Che, Lashin Lama Gendunte, Kunki Jepo Lama Yin, Lama Namla Satselo. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. Chona Chenpo Drayeni, Semchen Dunyal Thaki Ching, Kyapa Jeva Samyesu, Chotan Suksu So. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. Thupnam Dikpa Chui Mitrushin, Drove Dunyal Thaki Misella, Niki Toppa Shenla Poninte, Choni Delpa Tempe Dolvar Cure. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Chonam Kungi Sangela, Telmo Javi Sulvari, Semchen Dunya Muntunla, Choni Drome Partyu So. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Sivi Lashenna Chopa Min, Korwa Lashenna Namjumne, Rangon Lashenna Jamsen Min, Zimpa Jumna Tawa Min. Page 14, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe-destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden fountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 falls, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 19. Sun illuminating the 3-fold faith, praise to the 17 Nalanda masters. Born from great compassion, aspiring to help all beings, God of gods, you have attained the Savior state of abandonment and realization, and you guide beings through this discourse of dependent origination. O able one, the son of speech, I bow my head to you. I implore you at your feet, O Nagarjuna, most skilled in elucidating suchness free of elaborations, the meaning of sutras, the mother of conquerors, through the profound reasoning of dependent origination. In accord with the conqueror's prophecy, you initiated the middle way, the supreme vehicle. I implore you to your principal son, Bodhisattva Aryadeva, most learned and realized, who has crossed the ocean of Buddhist and non-Buddhist tenet systems, and is the crown jewel among those who uphold Nagarjuna's treatises. I implore you, O Buddha Palita, who has reached the supreme adept state and who has clearly elucidated I Nagarjuna's intent, the final meaning of dependent origination, the profound point of mere designation and as mere label. I implore you, O Master Bhavaviveka, fully accomplished Pandita, you initiated the philosophical tradition wherein, while negating extremes of truly existing things, arising and so forth, you uphold commonly verified knowledge and external reality. I implore you, O Chandrakirti, who disseminated all the parts of Sutra and Tantra, you are most skilled in teaching the profound and the vast aspects of the middle way, the union of appearance and emptiness dispelling the 2 extremes, by means of dependent origination that is mere conditionality. I implore you, O Bodhisattva Shantideva, skilled at revealing to the assembly of fortunate spiritual trainings the excellent path of compassion that is greatly wondrous, through a multitude of reasoning most profound and vast. I
implore you,
O Master Abbot Shantarakshita, who initiated the tradition of the non-dual middle way in accordance with the trainee's mental disposition. You are versed in the reasoning modes of both middle way and logic, and you disseminated the Congress teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Kamalashila, you who, having explained excellently the stages of meditation of the middle way view, free of elaborations, and the union of tranquility and insight, in accordance with Sutra and Tantra, flawlessly elucidated the Congress teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Asanga, you who, sustained by Maitreya, were versed in disseminating excellently all Mahayana scriptures, and taught the vast path, and who, in accord with the Congress prophecy, initiated the tradition of mind only. I implore you at your feet, O Master Vasubandhu, you who, while upholding the systems of the 7 Abhidharma treatises as well as non-duality, illuminated the tenets of Vaibhashika, Sautantrika and mind only. Foremost among learned ones, you are renowned as the second omniscient one. I implore you at your feet, O Dignaga, the logician, you who, in order to present the Buddha's way through evidence-based reasoning, opened 100-fold gateways of the system of logic and offered as a gift to the world the eyes of critical intelligence. I implore you at your feet, O Dharmakirti, you who, understanding all the essential points of both Buddhist and non-Buddhist epistemology, brought conviction in all the profound and vast paths of Sautantrika and mind only by means of reasoning. You are most versed in teaching the excellent Dharma. I implore you at your feet, O Arya Vinuktasena, you who lit the lamp that illuminates the meaning of the ornament treatise, wherein the themes of the perfection of wisdom, stemming from Asanga and his brother, were expounded in accord with the middle way view, free of existence and non-existence. I implore you, O Master Haribhadra, who were prophesied by the conqueror as expounder of the meaning of the mother, the perfection of wisdom. You elucidated the excellent treatise on the perfection of wisdom, the three mothers, in perfect accord with the instruction of the Savior Maitreya. I implore you at your feet, O Guna Brahma, most excellent in both integrity and scholarship, who, having excellently distilled the intent of 100,000 disciplinary teachings, expounded the individual liberation vows flawlessly according to the tradition of the Sarvastivada school. I implore you at your feet, O Shakyaprabha, supreme upholder of discipline, who reigned over the treasury of the qualities of the three trainings, in order to disseminate the stainless Vinaya teachings for a long time. You excellently expounded the meaning of the vast treatises. I implore you, O Joa Adisha, you who, having taught all the profound and vast traditions related to the words of the Buddha, within the framework of the path of the persons of three capacities, were the most kind master disseminating the Buddha's teaching in the land of snows. Having thus entreated these most learned ornaments of the world, the excellent sources of wondrous and insightful teachings, may I be blessed so that my mind becomes ripened and free, through the entreaty I made with a mind unwavering and pure. By understanding the two truths, the ontological reality, will we ascertain how, through the four truths, we enter and leave samsara. I will make firm the faith in the three jewels that is born of valid reason. May I be blessed so that the root of the path of liberation is firmly established within me. May I be blessed to perfect the training in renunciation, an aspiration for liberation, the total pacification of suffering and its origin, as well as in an uncontrived bodhicitta that is rooted in an infinite compassion that wishes to protect all sentient beings. May I be blessed so that I may easily develop conviction in all the paths pertaining to the profound points of the perfection and Vajra vehicle, by engaging in study, reflection and meditation on the meaning of the treatises of the great trailblazers. May I, in life after life, obtain excellent words that support the three trainings and contribute to the teaching that equals the great trailblazers in upholding and disseminating the teaching of scripture and realization through engaging in exposition and meditative practice. May the members of all spiritual communities spend their time in learning, reflection and meditation, shunning wrong livelihood through the proliferation of sublime masters. May the great face of the earth be beautified throughout all time. Through the power of this supplication, may I traverse all the paths of Sutra and Tantra and swiftly attain the state of conqueror's omniscience, characterized by spontaneous realization of the two purposes. May I work for the welfare of sentient beings as long as space remains. Page 31, the Heart Sutra Mantra. Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha 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 Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Page 32, 8 verses of mind training. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I had discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections vast as space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind system is blinded by ignorance. Page 39, the foundation of all good qualities. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vow with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the boon of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
Okay, we are on page 162, commentary. What we have been discussing thus far was how does one account for carrying the imprints of the karma, where the karma, accumulation karma, the time of the accumulation karma, and the ripening of the effects of the karma. These 2 are separated by many lifetimes. In other words, what connects the 2? What connects the karma that you accumulated and the experience of the result? Oftentimes, you accumulate karma, virtuous karma, non-virtuous karma, say today, and the results may ripen only after like 500 lifetimes later, or after 1000 lifetimes later. So in between, where does this karma go, or what keeps this karma intact? So this discussion, and then the Chittamantra schools, particularly Chittamantra following scripture, say that it is the Alevijnana, the basis of all consciousness, or the repository consciousness, Kunshi, which is doing this job. In other words, that from the time that you accumulated the karma, and then this imprint, then the very next moment it leaves an imprint. That imprint is laid on the Alevijnana, and then that Alevijnana will carry this imprint till it ripens. So even though it may ripen only after like 500 lifetimes later or 1000 lifetimes later, but the imprints are not going to be wasted. Imprints are being stored, and of course if they are the counter forces, for example, like for the negative imprints, negative karma coming imprints, if we practice the base of purifications, the power of purifications, then these can be cleansed before they ripen the results. And then for the virtuous karma, the imprints of the virtuous karma, anger can destroy them, and then the wrong view, disbelieving in law of karma can destroy them. So we see that until these are destroyed by other forces, they continue without being disrupted, because of the Alevijnana or Alevijnan or Kunshi, the base of all consciousness. And then some philosophers, they talk about the continuum of the mind, which carries this imprint. And then the Vaibhashika school, they talk about the acquisition, attainment, and so forth, responsible. Okay, this is all done. Now, according to Prasangika, how does that happen? Even without accepting all these, the basis for the karmic, the carrier of the karmic imprints, such as the Alevijnana and so forth. So how come that the Prasangika is able to account for this phenomenon so well without having any contradiction? So the concept of the disintegratedness, which the lower schools, except for Vaibhashika and Prasangika, would present that as a permanent phenomena. Prasangika would say that this is impermanent phenomena. And not only that it is impermanent, it is the functional phenomena that this is one which account for, which makes the Prasangika account for the karmas efficaciously being the seen, giving results, even though the two, the cause and the karmic seed, are karmic accumulation, and the effect are separated by innumerable lapse of time. Okay, so what is this in disintegratedness? What is this disintegratedness? How, if somebody on the account for the disintegratedness to be impermanent, how does one able to resolve this problem? Okay, so let's see. Be reasoning. We read that. No, read that. We did not read it. Okay, the reasoning, the disintegratedness of the first moment at the second moment. Say the karma, you accumulate karma now, karma at the 6:15 sharp. Say the study of this text itself is an incredible accumulation of positive karma. So we accumulate enormous positive karma now at 7:15 sharp, and then the next moment our mind just sways to something neutral. Then this karma immediately is transformed into the imprint, the seed. So the imprint is there, and then this karma disintegrates. This karma disintegrates. Okay, this karma disintegrates. Then what happens is that the phenomenon of disintegration, So now that we are already introduced to what is known as the isolates, entities, and the flower and the color of the flower, these two are entity-wise one, isolate-wise different. You already know this phenomenon. So this concept of entities and isolates, how two things can be entity-wise one, isolate-wise different, that's an extremely important concept. With this concept, then we can easily understand that say for example, the karma disintegrates, and then they disintegrate and the disintegratedness. This is a phenomenon known as disintegratedness. So this is something that we can think of. So the karma, and the next moment there's a disintegratedness of the karma created. So this disintegratedness has the potential, just as that karma which disintegrated, this karma had the potential to give rise to effect. This disintegratedness also has the same potential as that of the karma to give rise to the effect. So this disintegratedness, and the third moment, the disintegratedness will give rise to the disintegratedness of the disintegratedness. So this is how it is passed down, and then the potential remains the same. For example, say it is like, say you deposit, the 10,000 rupees to somebody, and the person gives you a paper, a voucher, and you take this voucher to the next place, say like in Jammu, and then there is another person waiting there, and the person takes the voucher from you, and then he gives another voucher to you. So this you take to the person in Kashmir. So this is, although every time you say move from one person to the next, oftentimes it happens. It's a very complicated system sometimes, right? Just with one paper you can actually finish the whole work, but unnecessarily you have to go from this to the next person. And the next person does some paperwork. From there again you carry the next paper issued by the second person to the third person, third to the fourth. But finally the meaning is the same. So although there's a change happening, but finally the last paper also has the value for 10,000 rupees. Likewise, disintegratedness gives rise to the disintegratedness of the disintegratedness. Second moment. Third moment, the disintegratedness of the disintegratedness of the disintegratedness, and say unless and until potentials are used, say the potential that the karma, initial karma they had, remains the same for all the disintegratedness being passed down endlessly. Okay. The disintegration of the second paragraph, page 162, the disintegration of the first moment and the second moment is necessarily realized through the eliminating the object of negation directly. Meaning that disintegratedness means something is disintegrated, something is not there. Something is not there meaning that karma is disintegrated. The karma is not there. So you explicitly negate the karma. So the positive phenomena and negative phenomena, when you speak about the positive phenomena and negative phenomena, we are talking about the positive phenomena and negative phenomena, we're talking about how a mind cognizes the object. For example, the flower, we see that, okay, there's a flower in my left hand. How do you know that there's a flower in my right hand? It's through directly perceiving the flower, not through explicitly rejecting something else. Whereas in my right hand you say that there's no flower. No is the negation. So that the absence of flower is known through, explicitly rejecting the presence of the flower. Okay, so likewise when you speak about disintegratedness means the object is disintegrated. The object is not there. So it explicitly negates something. So that becomes a negative phenomenon. So disintegratedness is a negative phenomenon. It's not a positive. It says necessarily realized through eliminating or negating object of negation directly. So directly, how this disintegratedness is realized or cognized is through explicitly negating, explicitly eliminating the object of the negation. So therefore it is a negative phenomena. Within negative there are two, affirming negative and non-affirming negative. negative negation directly, therefore it is a negative. Since it is not a non-affirming negative, it is an affirming negative. So this disintegratedness, it is negative, and then it is a affirming negative because it is not non-affirming negative. How? It's affirming negative because disintegration is not merely not merely the elimination of the object. It's not merely the negation of the object, but rather implies a disintegration. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the translation has to be a little rectified. It is not non-affirming negative, it is an affirming negative because disintegration is not merely the elimination of that, but rather implies not disintegration. This is this is not the case. Okay, it implies a thing or phenomena, thing after negating, after the negation. Okay. Okay, so otherwise it becomes very clear that it rather implies a disintegration. No, this is a wrong translation. It's a wrong translation. Not merely the elimination of that, but rather implies a thing after negation. After negation, then the debate is what is that thing which is implied. So what is that thing? So this is a debate going in the monastic universities. Afterwards it's very clear. Disintegration is saying, okay, this is not the thing. Okay, so what is that thing which is negated? This is a huge debate. So what I would say is that I will share with you some of the thoughts, and don't be too rigid that okay, this must be correct, that must be correct. Say that should be a process of learning, a process of evolution, process of learning for us. Okay, one view is that I wouldn't say that it is I would say that there's a tremendous space for us to come up with your own views. But even when you come up with your own views, don't be too rigid. When we say that, for example, say okay, now my wealth is exhausted. If I say my wealth is exhausted, it is like saying that I have no wealth. Do you see difference? One, I'm making two statements. One, I say that I have no wealth. Number two, I say that my wealth is exhausted. Okay, what difference do you see? What difference do you sense between these two things, between these two statements? One is, I don't have wealth. Number two is, my wealth is exhausted. Yela?
My wealth is exhausted means you had wealth.
Okay, you had. You earlier had, this is implied. And when you say, whereas when you say that, I have no wealth.
Nothing is implied.
Nothing is implied. I have no wealth, it is non-affirming negative. Whereas when you say, my health, my wealth is, what did I say? No, first one is I have no wealth. So simply the negation, simply the mere negation, which implies that the nothing is affirmed, which means not affirming negative. Whereas when I say my wealth is exhausted, it implies that you had, earlier you had. So that's implied. This is one, okay, I would say that don't be too rigid. Okay, this is very good, this is nice. And the same, always keep in mind that, okay, this is also one option, right? And then what other the options could there be? What other options could there be? Say that we have to check, right? Say this is one, because it is not very clearly indicated what's implied, what is implied after the negation. So this is one, and then the what? Okay, so let's say the another option, for example, let's say the house is demolished. It is being demolished. It is being demolished. So this is it is disintegrating. It is being demolished. When you speak about okay, I'm seeing the house getting demolished. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the house getting demolished. During that, I was at the peak of earthquake, and I could see the house, being damaged, getting damaged. What are you seeing? Huh?
The actual act of disintegration.
This act is seen, while the earlier house, you see that you negate it, while this act, the process is seen, right? So this process, after negating this, the presence of the house, what you are seeing is the process. So this process is directly seen. That is the positive phenomenon. So after negating the presence of the house, you see the process which it affirms something else, a positive phenomenon, which is the process of negation, process of dismantling. Okay, so this is another way of saying it. So the point is that this is a very nuanced phenomenon on this disintegratedness, and this is not something which the lower schools like even Svatandra Madhyamika cannot think of, let alone Chittamatra, Southern School, and so forth. So this is something which is unique of Prasangika, and then the more we think about, and then later on there are topics, there are the topics which are extremely subtle, and this will help us to make our mind more nuanced. From this, then you can possibly can think of the other possibilities, other options, and so forth. Okay, so this is the point is that disintegratedness is not a positive phenomenon; it is a negative phenomenon, and is not affirming. The non-affirming negative is the affirming negative. Okay.
What was the correct sentence here?
So I said that the is not merely the elimination of that, but rather implies a thing after negation. After negation.
After that. After that.
Not that. After the negation. After the negation. Okay. Therefore, full stop. Therefore, it is a functional thing. Okay. The remaining proofs are to be understood from the extensive commentary on fundamental wisdom. The subtle reasonings of this system have great meaning, meaning that this is something very subtle reasoning employed, which the lower schools have no clue. Okay. Next, although not asserting a mind basis of all, Alivigyan Kunshi, positing a basis for the latencies. So what is the basis for the latencies? Question. Although not asserting a mind basis of all, virtuous and non-virtuous latencies are deposited and results are necessarily asserted to arise from the ripening of those latencies, because the explanation of the supplement of the middle way, and this is auto commentary. Auto commentary of Acharya Chandrakirti, this text says, in beginningless cyclic existence, the deposited latencies which are functioning things thoroughly ripen, manifesting as things, meaning that the karmic, the latencies, which you acquired, say many lifetimes ago, will ripen today, many lifetimes later. So, but the results will ripen. So, what happens in between? What is the link between these two things? Who, say, the maintained, or who the preserved? What preserved the latencies or the imprints? Okay, here the response is coming. Similar statements also occur in many other texts. In addition, since it is not suitable for there not to exist a basis for the depositing of latencies, what is that basis? There must be a basis. Without basis, we cannot really speak about this phenomenon. We cannot really account for this phenomenon. There must be a basis which connects the two things, the cause and effect, which are separated by the acute length of time. Response. According to those who assert a mind basis of all, the mind basis of all, the basis observed by the afflicted mentality thinking, okay, so these are the things that you need to know, because just by reading English, it doesn't give you a free, easy understanding. Concepts must be there with you. So this is talking about Alivigyan, mind basis of all, Alivigyan. Who is the presenter of Alivigyan concept? Chittamatra following scripture. So we have to know their psychology. So according to them, there are 8 classes of mind. 8 classes of mind. What are they? 5 sensory consciousness and 1 mental consciousness. 6 plus Alivigyan, 7. Then the afflicted mind. Afflicted, this is technical term. Afflicted mind just is a technical term. Afflicted mind, which sees the Alivigyan, and with this Alivigyan, then the creating a sense of autonomous, the substantial self. Okay, so that is the afflictive mind. These 8 consciousnesses are there. So what is said here is that the same response, according to those who assert a mind base of all, the mind base of all, describing that the basis observed by the afflicted mentality. This afflicted mentality is the 8th class of the mind. Not just any mind which is afflicted. This is not a connotation. Because even the 6th mental consciousness can be afflicted. This is not a connotation. It is pointing to the 8th class of the mind. And which thinks, on the basis of this Alivigyan, then this afflictive mind thinks I. It creates a sense of autonomous substance itself and thinks of that as I. Right? Okay. First let me read this, then we will go into a little more the clarification and more the nuanced discussion. It's asserted to be the location of the latencies. So this Alivigyan, on the basis of which the afflicted mind sees a sense of create a sense of self, the I. So this Alivigyan is the basis for carrying all the imprints from one life to the next. Likewise, this system also asserts that very observed object of the innate awareness, which is the mere thought I, is the basis for the infusion of the latent. Likewise. So thus far, up to this point, first 2 lines is according to the proponents of Alivigyan. Now the next 2 lines, likewise, is the Prasangika's view. Prasangika, what the Prasangika is saying is that likewise this system, Prasangika system, also asserts that that very observed object of the of the innate awareness of what, which is the mere thought I. That we have a sense. You have a sense of, say, you have a mind which thinks of I in the sleep, when you wake up, when you're happy, when you're unhappy. There's always an innate sense of I. So this innate sense of I is a mind, and what's the object of this mind? There's innate I and superficial I too. I, there are two eyes, innate I and superficial I. No, I is I, right? Tell me, what's the object of this mind? Same, there's the innate feeling of my flower. What's the object of this mind? Innate feeling of my flower. That's the innate feeling of my mother. What's the object of this mind? Innate mother. So innate should be attached to the mind, my mind which thinks. The object, this innate should not be qualified to the object. So this innate mind within me thinks of what? What's their object? My mother. My mother becomes the object of this innate mind which thinks my mother. You're getting it? Likewise, innate mind which thinks I. What's the object of this mind? I. You're getting it? Okay. So this mind, innate mind which thinks I. Does it associate this innate mind, does it associate this I with the five aggregates? Or just I? This is known as mere I. Mere I. Say, when you see that, let's say that if you have a fracture, if you have some problem with your body, then, oh, I'm sick. Then you identify yourself with the body. Say, in terms of your thinking, you cannot do the calculation so well, you cannot do the meditation so well. No, I'm not so good in meditation. You associate yourself with the mind. Whereas when you say innately, just a feeling of sense of I, so there you don't qualify this I with the five aggregates. It's a mere I. You're getting it? The mere I. Okay. So now Prasangika's one unique, very unique presentation is that this imprint, what the Alivigyan carries, according to the law schools, according to Prasangika, what carries this imprint is the mere I. The mere I, which is the object of this innate sense of I. You are getting it? Okay, do you have the innate sense of I? How many of you have it? We all have it, right? So this innate sense of I, what's the object of this innate sense of I? The mere I. The mere I meaning I which is not qualified with the five aggregates. Just the mere I. Okay, say you came from your past life?
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone who likes to volunteer? Just raise hand, somebody who likes to volunteer. It's not going to be a complicated question. Just, hey, Pooja, do you like to volunteer? Good, don't look around. Okay, tell me. You came from a past life?
Yes.
Okay, so this I came from the past life. Okay, you're a girl? Okay, past life you're a girl? This you. This you is girl?
No.
Oh, this you is not girl?
Past life?
No. This you, which says I.
No, it's not good.
It's not girl. Oh, interesting.
No.
You're not a girl.
I'm a girl.
You're a girl, right?
My girl.
So this, who said that I, right? So this object I, which is the object of your innate sense of I. So this object, is it girl or not?
No.
It's not girl. I see.
I would say no.
So this I sits with Tejala.
This Pooja? Yes.
No, this I,
This mirror.
this object.
Yes, yes.
This object known as that. This object
Yes.
of this innate sense of I,
Yes.
right, is in this life.
Yes, yes.
It exists in this life.
Yes, sir.
It's a girl in this life.
So,
Oh, in this life it's not a girl. Okay. Okay, so we see that this I, does it exist in this life?
yes. Yes.
With the mind. this I, which is the object of the innate sense of I, this I, does it exist in this life?
Yes.
In this life, it's girl. In the past life, it can be boy. In the next life, we never know. It can be hermaphrodite, transgender. We never know. You're getting it? But what is common to all these three is this I. You're getting it? So this I is known as the mere I, which is not qualified with any of the aggregates. Female aggregate, male aggregate, without being qualified with any of these. So this I, which spreads across 3 times, this is the mere I. So this mere I travels in all 3 times. You're getting it? So this mere I, for the scripture following Chittamatra philosophers, what Alivigyan is for them, for the Prasangya Madhyamika is the mere I. Mere I, which carries this imprint from one life to the other. You're getting it? Okay, so let's see. Response. Under this section in the middle, under section response, you have the 3rd line which reads, likewise this system, Prasangya system, also asserts that very observed object, which is that very observed object? The mere I. Object of the innate awareness, which is the mere thought I. You're getting it? This I, that object, the mere I, is the basis for the infusion of the latencies, which carries the imprints, latencies from one life to the other. Okay. And okay, how many you are how many you are getting something at this point? You're getting something? Or you're confused? No. If you're getting confused here, then the next will be even more confusing. You should not be confused, right? Yes.
Why are we using, why is the word innate being used here?
Okay. This is a good question. Why this word innate is used here? This is a good question. Let's say on the innate, what is the other side of what is the counterpart of innate? Acquired, philosophically acquired. So philosophically, we can talk about my Alivigyan, right? There's no I other than Alivigyan. Kunshi Alivigyan is the fun I which travels. So these are all philosophically created. And then in some cases, the concept of permanent, unitary, independent self, this I, there's nothing more than this is I. These are acquired. Innate is something which we human beings have, which even animals have. Just look at how the animals behave. Cats, dogs, right? The moment you are very tender, they feel calm, peaceful, right? The moment you are really tense, they could feel it, they run away. You're getting it? So there's a sense of I in them also. So this sense of I which exists in all. So what is that object? That's the mere I.
Sorry, Krishna, just one more. But then why is it the mere I? Why is it not the substantial I? Or the objectively existent I?
Okay, for the time being, what we were saying is that they say it's not talking about any thought, it's the innate mind. Innate mind, this is extremely beautiful part of Prasangika. Extremely beautiful part of Prasangika, which always deals with the reality. In reality, so how do things exist? They exist by imputation by your mind. And then say for example, okay, let's say I impute this flower. And people can also impute this as I impute this as we impute this as a red rose. Red flower. Some people can impute this as a blue flower. Some people can impute this as what, with the blue glasses on, will impute this as a purple flower. Right? There are so many imputations. Of the various imputations, which accords with the reality, in most cases is the innate ones. So the innate thinking, that plays a very important role. So what really is there, acquired means you just create. With everything is actually created by conventions. Within the creation, you give a second creation, right? Or you exaggerate. The moment you go for the second creation, you're exaggerating the reality. You're getting it? So the innate ones, innate thoughts. What the innate thoughts have. For example, say what makes us feel, say when somebody, when somebody feels a little low, feeling sad, remain lonely, then people come to empathize. People come to sympathize with the person, empathize with the person. So why? Why? Tell me why. Say for example, say I remain so dejected, low. I didn't say anything. I'm not telling you anything. And then you would come to empathize with me. Why do you come to empathize with me? Huh? You don't know. Which means some people they, yeah. Okay, why? Why do we go to empathize? Huh? Okay, let's say, yes, Tejala.
Because we have the experience.
I think there's a kind of mirror neuron. I mean, we have experience of that feeling. So when
we have experienced that feeling. Which feeling? Very happy feeling?
Of dejection, of feeling low. So when we
feeling low. So what's the problem? What do you mean by feeling low? No, describe it.
The mind sings.
Okay, the mind sings. It must be so fun to have the mind sinking. Huh? There must be so much fun that when the mind sings. Otherwise, the mind is so active, and the mind sings. It must be a great fun. So somebody dives into water. It's fun, right?
Yes.
So why you go to empathize if the mind sings?
Because you know the person is sad or depressed.
Okay, when the mind sings, let's say, when the mind sings is the meaning of the person being sad, right? Okay, person being sad. Person being sad, what is that person? Right? You connect the two things. Person being sad. So because of person being sad, if the table is sad, don't worry. If the person is sad, no, you have to worry. You should be considerate. The person is very important. You're getting it? If the table is destroyed, don't worry, it's fine. If the person is destroyed, no. Person is very important. What is this person? You're getting it? So you have to posit what a person is. You have to be able to posit what a person is. So how do you determine that there is something known as a person? Person which, when it goes through a little difficulty, we should really take concern, give concern, show concern. So what is that person? This person. Okay, so that person can be just mentally create. They just create something like, oh, I'm the king of the universe, I'm feeling sad now, you should come to help me. King of the universe, this is totally exaggerated. Right? So if the person says that I'm the king of the universe, I'm not getting the treatment as what I deserve, then nobody will pay heed to this. But when a person feels really sad, dejected, so this person connecting two things. The dejection, the sadness, loneliness with this person. So how do you know that this thought of the person is valid? You're getting it? This thought of the person is valid. So this thought of the person, whether or not there's a person or not, how do you decide it? Whether or not there is this person, how do you decide it? So the best measure is by seeing how the innate mind thinks. How the innate mind thinks. Innate mind which thinks that I don't want suffering. This is innate. You're getting it? So this innate mind which thinks I don't want suffering. Right? So this I don't want suffering associated with the I. So this I, how can you say that this I, it exists? It exists related to this I don't want suffering in the form of the way the innate mind thinks. So how does the innate mind thinks of this self, of the I? So that is not qualified, not qualified with the say the body, mind, aggregates and so forth. Just that there's a mere I coming to your mind. That is the I, right? And that is extreme. That is the center of the universe. That's the most important thing. It's for this reason that we need everything: the clothes, the food, the house, the traffic rules, and the human rights. All all these things are structured on the basis of this sense of the I. So this I, if it does not exist, then all these things are totally irrelevant. The fact that all these things become very important is because this I is very important. What is this I? This I, and there are so many versions. Permanent, unitary, independent I, autonomously existent I, objectively existent I, Aliviyan is the I, and so forth. So among the various versions, which is the real I? So that should accord with the I as experienced by everybody, not only the philosophers, including the animals. So they, including animals, they don't have a sense of my Aliviyan, my permanent unitary independent self. They don't have. These are all philosophically acquired. You're getting it? Okay, this is a very important question, and Lama Tsongkhapa oftentimes the emphasizes on that part. Okay, so this will come over and over again. Very good. Okay. So this, the mere I. So what Aliviyan is seen as the carrier of the imprints for the Chittamantra following the sutras. For Prasangika, it is this mere I, which is the object of observation of the sense of the innate sense of the I, innate mind, which thinks of the I or which feels the I. Okay, that is the basis for the infusion of the latencies. Okay, infusion meaning where the latencies are implanted. It infuses the latencies are implanted or fused. Question. Well then, why does the explanation of the supplement to the middle ways say that the continuum of mind is the basis of the latencies? Okay, then the question arises, if the mere I is the one which is the basis for the infusion of the imprints, or the implanting the basis where the imprints are implanted, imprints are implanted, then in the auto commentary Acharya Chandrakirti mentioned that the mental continuum as the basis of the infusion for the imprints. So these two are contradictory. On the one hand, Lama Tsongkhapa explained that it is a mere I, and then Acharya Chandrakirti said the continuum of the mind, right, for the basis for the infusion of the latencies. So how does it work? Response. Since the mere I itself is a continuum that is imputed in dependence on mind consciousness, so this mere I, how does it exist? Does it exist independent of the mind, or it exists by dependence on the mind? For example, let's say when my mind thinks, when my mind thinks about compassion, so I say I'm thinking about compassion, right? So it is simply because that one of my aggregate of the mind is thinking, then we designate this I, this mere I, as thinking. So when my physical body is picking up the flower, this is when I designate this I, the mere I, as picking up the flower. So we see that it's just what the aggregates, the parts are engaged in, that what is imputed, the self, which is imputed on these aggregates, that is said to be functioning like this. So because that the mental continuum is what carries the imprints, so we say that the mind is the carrier of the imprints. No, the self. The self is the carrier of the imprints. You getting it? Okay. Well then, why does the explanation of the supplement to the middle way say that the continuum of the mind is the basis of the latencies? Response. Since the mere I itself is a continuum that is imputed, the mere I that is imputed on the basis of by dependence on the mind consciousness, mental consciousness, is also called a continuum of mind. So this, they say the continuum of the self. Continuum self is on the basis of the continuum of mind, that the continuum of the self is designated. In the case that a similar type of mind is called a continuum of mind, it becomes moreover, okay, it's little draggery, it doesn't matter. Moreover, now change of the translation. Moreover, not the basis for the infusion of occasional latencies. It is the occasional should come first. The occasional basis for the infusion of latencies. Okay, let me say this again, the last line, which is it becomes, moreover, the occasional basis. Occasional should be added here. The occasional basis for the infusion of, then delete occasional, the second, infusion of latencies. Okay, let me give you the overall picture. Say the eternal basis and the occasional basis, or in other words, durable basis, durable or eternal, maybe durable may be a better word, because eternal can give you a different connotation. Durable basis and the occasional basis for the infusion of the latencies. Okay, durable meaning the self. The self is the durable. Durable is always the imprint carrier. The self, the mere I, is the one which carries the imprints all the time. Okay, let's say that brother A and brother B. Brother A is going from say from Tibet House to India Gate, and brother B will go from Tibet House to Khan Market, which means Khan Market is in between Tibet House and India Gate. India Gate is further away, and two brothers, they are carrying a table to be carried to India Gate. So brother A and B, two of them are lifting the table together, and then they first go to Khan Market, and brother B stops there, and brother C joins. Brother C joins to help brother A to carry to. Okay, tell me, of these three brothers, who's the durable carrier of the table? Brother A. What occasional carrier of the table? B and C. Very good. Likewise, our mind, or they say this self, this mere I, this I is the one which is durable, like the brother A, who's always there carrying the imprints of the consciousness, of the karma, of the imprints of the consciousness. And the mind, mental consciousness, is not the durable, it's the occasional. At times, sometimes it serves as, it carries the imprints, not always. Huh? Why not? You're happy? Not happy? Why not? Okay, if any questions?
Yeshua, is the mere I?
To the mic.
Is the mere I a subtle mind, or is the mere I?
No, it's not a mind. The moment you say it's a mind, you are going into lower schools.
Is it mere I dependent, impute, because it doesn't have any substantial reality, so I just can't understand.
It is imputed?
It's imputed
on the basis of the body and the mind.
Not on the continuum of consciousness.
On the continuum of consciousness?
So, but that continuum of consciousness is also not solid there.
Nothing is solid there.
So that's what I'm thinking. The mere I don't understand. The mere I which carries the influence from lifetime to lifetime.
No, that's fine. This mere I. You have the mere I, right? You came from Noida. You are in Tibet House now. Then you go to Noida. Then you go to Debong. Right? All these places. So this I, the I, from Noida, come to Tibet House, to Noida, again go to Debong, right? So it moves. So this I exists at all times. You getting it? Okay. Now, say the mind now, today's just now, the mind at 7 o'clock. Your mind at 7 o'clock, this was not at the time when you started from your home. It was not there. right? So this will disappear. But this the I, and then say when we leave, when we die, the mind of this life will not continue. Mind of this life will not. The mind will continue. The mind of this life will not continue. Right? The mind of the human being will not continue as a human life, human mind. But the I will continue. You're getting it? So this I is known as the mirror I. This is the one which connects across the 3 times. Right? So what I said, okay, first I know that you are not happy at all. You take a deep breath, I know. Right? Okay. As long as you know what I'm saying now, what I said, there are two bases where the imprints are implanted, imprints are established. What are the 2 bases known as? Durable basis and the occasional basis. You're getting it? Durable basis and occasional basis. So what is the occasional basis? I said, whether you agree with me or not, it doesn't matter. What did I say? What is the occasional basis for the infusion of plant? Mental consciousness. Very good. And what is the durable? Mirror. You're getting it? Okay, if you know this much, now you can ask me a question. What question do you have? If you're not happy with what I said. Tejala, you want to say? Yes?
I mean, now when you explain that the mind of this life will not continue, but both being impermanent phenomena, the mere I as well as the mind, and since the mere I makes no sense without depending on mental consciousness.
Very good.
So then it gives me that I feel like there is some nuance difference why it's being posited on the mere I as the durable one and not the mental consciousness directly.
Why? What's your question?
My question is that it seems like there's a nuance and I'm not able to...
And if you say the nuance, then it is not my problem, it's your problem. You cannot see the nuance.
It's true, that's why I'm asking you.
No, what's the question? The question should be such that a contradiction should be pointed to from my side. Meaning, a contradiction should be pointed to me. That what you said, there's a contradiction there, right? Then it becomes a question.
I guess my question is, why should the mental consciousness not be the durable carrier?
Because this is the occasional carrier. Okay, tell me, what reason did I give to say that the mere I is the durable, the carrier of the imprint? What reason did I give? That this mere I is the one which travels across the 3 times. Then you can say that even the mental consciousness also travels across the 3 times. So if okay, now I will not give the answer because the question I asked you, right? If I ask the question, I never give the answer. If you ask a question, then it's my responsibility to give the answer. So the question is that if it is because that the self travels in the mere I travels in 3 times across the 3 times, therefore it is the durable, the carrier of the imprint. Then the mental consciousness, my mental consciousness, it also travels across 3 times. That as well should be the durable carrier of the mental imprints. Okay, so good. What please? No, I don't understand it. No, actually I should say please to you. You have to give the answer to me. I asked the question. Yes, Ajivji?
Krishna, the question is that isn't it that the mental continuum also comes from the past life, present life and continues for the future?
Yes. Same, likewise the self also came from the mere I also came from the past, present and future.
So
same.
So why?
This is what I said. This is my question to you.
No,
Yeah, so my question is that, then why do we talk in two different, why do we use two different labels to convey the same continuum?
This is my question to you. Okay, I'm joking. So the answer is going to be in the following lines. Did you get my point? What's the question? If, ideally speaking, I do not give the reason. If I give the reason, then I'm trapped. I'm trapped meaning that I'm already into contradiction, right? Obvious contradiction. I do not give the. I do not say that this the mere I is the durable carrier. I did say this, but the reason that I give, this is not the reason that I gave. I do not say that the mere I is the durable carrier of the imprints because it exists in across three times. This is not the reason that I gave. I just said that this mere I explained what this mere I is, which is spreads across three times. That is the one which is known as the durable carrier imprints, and whereas the mental consciousness is the occasional carrier of the imprints. This is what I said. I did not give any reason. You're getting it? Okay. So now you're wondering why the mere I is the durable carrier of the imprints and why not the mental consciousness? Because these two, in terms of the durability, in terms of lasting, these two last in the same way, right? The way the mere I lasts long, the same mental consciousness also lasts long. Okay, so why? So answers will come down in the following passages. Okay, let's continue reading this. The mode of latencies of ignorance. So what we have to know is what? What we have to know is that what Alaya Vigyan is for the Chittamatra following scriptures as the basis for carrying the imprints, karmic imprints. For the Madhyamikas, for the Prasanga Madhyamika, it is a mere I which carries the karmic imprints from one life to the other. One thing, point number one. Point number two, in terms of then, if this is the case, then the author, Lama Tsongkhapa, they brings up the position from Acharya Chandrakirti. Acharya Chandrakirti, who said that mental continuum is the imprint carrier. Imprint carrier, which carries the imprint from one life to the other. So Lama Tsongkhapa says that there is no contradiction. So when the metal imprint is also the carrier of the imprints, and the mere I is also the carrier of the imprints. Carrier of the imprints, there are two kinds. What are they? Durable carrier, durable basis, and the occasional basis. So which is the durable basis? Mere I. And what is the occasional basis? Mental consciousness. Okay, so the question is why, how, on what basis we make this distinction? That one is the durable one and the other one is the occasional one. On what basis we make this distinction? So this will be answered in the following. The mode of the latencies of ignorance. The explanation of the supplement to the middle way. Supplement to the middle way. Commentary says that which subsequently proceeds to seize and infuse the continuum of mind is the latencies. Okay, latencies. What is latencies? This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay. Okay. The latency is that which subsequently proceeds to cease and infuse the continuum of mind. Say it is let's say 5 moments of virtue. 5 moments of virtue, and 6 moments the virtue ceases. You're getting it? 5 moments virtue, then 6 moments the virtue ceases, and maybe a neutral or negative mind. So that which subsequently proceeds to cease, which means that which is the one which proceeds to cease? Which time? Moment 5 or moment 6? Moment 6 is not proceeds, it already ceased. Moment 6. So moment 5. Moment 5 is at the moment 5 subsequently proceeds to cease And then at that point, moment 5, then the infusion or the implanting of the seed happens at moment 5. This is very clearly indicated here by Acharya Chandrakirti's the commentary, auto commentary, as well as in Lama Tsongkhapa's. There is one text which is explicitly on Alivigyan. Kunshi, explicitly on Alivigyan. There's a book by Lama Tsongkhapa. It's beautiful. It's extremely comprehensive book. I think that is translated into English. So when we study the what is that? Abhisamalankara, we will have to refer to that book. Okay. So when is the imprint implanted? Last moment of what is to be implanted. Say the seed of which is implanted, right? Seed of the karma. The karma last moment, number 5 is the last moment. Let's say number 5, moment 5 is the last moment. So at that point, the seed is implanted, right? So which means that implanting the seed and the last moment of that particular mind, these two are simultaneous. Okay. This seems to be little. Say you may not feel very comfortable, but this is the fact. Don't forget it. It's not that the first 5 moments, the say karma, the virtuous karma, and then the number 6, it becomes say neutral, negative, whatever. Then the seed is implanted. The number 6. No, this is a very standard position. Don't forget it. We cannot speculate it. This is implanted at number 5. The last moment it is implanted. The seed is implanted. Okay, yes, Jayandi.
This lesson is very, very important for me today. I've been studying for 40 years, but I want to say that I'm not talking about holiness, you are my teachers, but some years ago, on the 25th of October, my love flew away, and it was a few seconds very conscious, because she told me, he loved me 3 times, and it is somewhere there, isn't it?
Yes.
What I wanted to say.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's there. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Tejala.
Just a small clarification. So when we speak about, let's say, the 5 moments of mind engaged in virtue, so could we say that the imprint is laid with every moment of that 5 moments of mind?
Yes. Okay, this is a good question. Every moment imprint is laid. Say the first moment, when it changes to the second moment, it lays imprint, right? And then the overall imprint, say the karma imprint, when is that laid? So overall, the last moment.
So there is something called overall imprint.
Oh, well, not something different. Entity was different. Is the entity was same? Right? Okay. Yes. Imprint is bhaksha.
So then what about Shikha? What about the state of disintegratedness that we were talking?
Okay, the latencies, what do you think? Latencies are positive or negative phenomena? Positive. So disintegratedness is negative. Affirming negative, right? Okay, so these two are different. Okay, now our job is eventually, after studying all these things, our job is on the one hand, one line, the concept of disintegratedness is explained in order to account for the efficacy of the law of karma, while the cause and effect, these two are separated by many lifetimes. On the other hand, now the basis of the imprints carrier, the basis of the imprint carrier is explained in the form of the mirror eye, mental continuum, and so forth. So to account for this thing, you're getting it. So we see that there are two things going in parallel. First study both, and your job is to later on conjunct the two things. First study both. Okay. So the what is latencies? That is already explained here. That which subsequently proceeds to seize and infuse the continuum mind is the latencies. Okay, what are the synonyms? Extreme of afflictions, familiarity, root, latency are synonyms. Okay, so this is pertaining to the afflictions, pertaining to the afflictive imprints, not imprints in general. Even though the uncontaminated path has already abandoned the afflictions, hearers and solitary realizers are unable to abandon their latencies. Like, for example, even though sesame oil, flowers and so forth have already been removed, their subtle qualities are observed upon encountering them in pots, wooden cloths and so forth. Okay, so the idea is what we learn about the solid garlic and the smell of the garlic. Solid garlic, which is like the afflictions, afflictive obscurations, and then remove the solid garlic, wash it so well, and then you smell it, still it smells the garlic. So there's no solid substance there as a garlic, but there's still the smell, yet the smell is left there. Likewise, that is the latencies. That is the latency. Okay. It says even though the uncontaminated path has already abandoned the affliction. Same when you reach the path of seeing. Path of seeing, we have the uncontaminated path, non-dual wisdom of emptiness. When it's the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, say the certainty of afflictions already gone rid of, or when you reach the path of no more learning, for the Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, when you reach the path of no more learning, then the non-dual wisdom of emptiness eradicates all the afflictions. Okay. Afflictions, hearers and solitary realizers are unable to abandon their latencies. The subtle latencies, which we call as cognitive obscurations, the latencies. Like, for example, like what? Garlic and the smell of garlic. Likewise, even though sesame oil, flowers and so forth have already been removed. The solid sesame oil is gone and the flowers are gone. Their subtle qualities, meaning like the smell, are observed upon encountering them in pots, wooden cloths and so forth. Okay, now this is what came from Acharya Chandragirti's auto commentary. Then the Lamatsungaba. Other latencies, such as virtuous and non-virtuous latencies, are suitable to be applied to the two bases as well. Meaning that other latencies, any latency. So what is being explained here is about the afflictions. Now the latencies of virtues, latencies of non-virtues are suitable to be applied to the two bases as well, which durable basis and the occasional basis. Okay, so this is the author's explanation. No, Lamatsunghaba's explanation. Objection. Well then, although the time of the uninterrupted path of the path of seeing, the objects of abandonment of the path of seeing, that is the object of abandonment of that uninterrupted path of the path of seeing, do indeed not exist or do not indeed exist, the dormant latencies that are objects of abandonment of the path of meditation must exist. Okay, let's say we go from Gate, Parasangate, right? Paragate to, okay, you reach Paragate. What is Paragate? Path of? Okay, you reach path of seeing, Paragate. And then before you actually, okay, path of seeing. So path of seeing, we see that, there are two stages. Path of seeing, okay, where first stage is, okay, three stages, let's say. Three stages where, okay, I said, okay, first let's say two stages. The meditative state and the post-meditative state. Two. Part of seeing, likewise part of meditation, meditative state and post-meditative state. Two stages. Which means in meditation stage and then you come out of meditation. Two stages. Within meditation stage, again we see that there are two. One is, say, first let me give the example. Example, say a robber has broken in your house, and then you fight with him, you throw him out of the house. Okay, you're freed of the robber, but your door is not locked. Your door is not locked. That is one stage where you actually succeeded in throwing the robber. The robber is not there, but anytime he can come back. Right? That is known as the uninterrupted path. Uninterrupted path. Okay. Then the next part is, in Tibetan we call it Parche Melam. Parche Melam. BHARCHAY, Parche Melam. MAYLAM, Parche Melam. Uninterrupted path. And then the second one is the same. Not only that you threw the thief, the robber from your house, then you lock it from inside. And now you can relax. That is known as the path of release. Path of release. Okay, this is what actually we did learn as a part of the tennis system. We learned it there. Okay. Path uninterrupted path Parche Melam, and path of release Namdrollam. Namdrollam. NAMDROL Namdrol LAM. Namdrollam. Lam means path, and Namdrol is the perfect liberation or perfect release. Namdrollam. Okay, so in all we see that there are three. One is uninterrupted path, then the path of release, and the post meditation. Then from this state, so these two states, uninterrupted path and the path of release, in both cases the practitioner is in a meditative state. In both cases, non-dual meditative state. Then from there one arises, you go into the post meditative state. Okay. Now what is being said is that you are on the path of seeing. So you reach the path of seeing into the first uninterrupted path, and then you go to the path of release. Uninterrupted path, what you've been fighting is you are fighting a set of the afflictions. Set of afflictions which is acquired afflictions, you are fighting with them, and then you throw them. Okay. You throw them, and then what happens is that during the path of release, then like you locked the door, you get the conviction that now they are abandoned for good. They cannot come back. Right? That is the path of release. Okay. Now then you come out of the meditation. That is post-meditative state. Okay. Then you go back into meditation. So what is left now? When you reach that level, post-meditative state of path of seeing, so your say the mental defilements to be abandoned by the path of seeing are already abandoned, but still, right, the smells are left. The smell which have to be abandoned by the path of meditation. The next path, right, path of meditation. So the subtler ones are left. So it says that, okay, let's read. Objection. Well then, the last paragraph, page 162. Well then, although the time of the uninterrupted path of the path of seeing, which stage? The first one. The first path of seeing, the object of abandonment of the path of seeing. Object of abandonment path of seeing meaning?
The acquired afflictions.
Acquired afflictions to be abandoned by the path of seeing. That is the object of abandonment of that path of seeing. Okay, so at that point, uninterrupted path, do these, the objects of abandonment of the path of seeing, do they exist in the path of seeing? Huh? Path of seeing, what is to be abandoned, these afflictions, are they with him or not? Him or her? No, it's like the robber being thrown away. Only thing is what? The difference is that not yet locked in. The confidence is not there because anytime it can come in. So it's not there. Do indeed not exist. Do not indeed exist. Indeed do not exist. It do not exist. But then what? Then the dormant latencies. Okay, let's say because of the uninterrupted path, they're already kicked out, and the path of release, you get the conviction, and then you come to the post-meditative state. Okay, you are relaxing, which means the afflictions to be abandoned by the part of seeing will not arise again. You can't. But still there is some mental defilements there. What defilements are there? The dormant latencies, there are objects of abandonment of the path of meditation must exist. You're getting it? You're getting it? Okay. Now let's say that to be more precise, say what is, let's follow exactly what the author is saying, Lama Tsongkhapa is saying, that say you are in the path of uninterrupted path. Before? Path of release of the path of seeing. Path of seeing has three categories: path of uninterrupted path, path of release, and a post-meditative experience. 3. Okay, post-meditative path. So of the 3, let's say you are in the first part, the first uninterrupted path of the path of seeing. You are seeing there in this meditation. So in that state, do you still have the mental defilements, mental afflictions to be abandoned by the path of seeing? Do you have them? No. You don't have them. Okay, you don't have them. Which means that what is your mind? What is that mind? What is that mind seeing? What is that mind cognizing? That mind is cognizing, that mind is realizing, experiencing. Non-dualistically, it is experiencing ultimate reality. It is, in other words, this mind, uninterrupted path and the path of seeing, these two are the non-dual experience of emptiness. These two minds are always non-dual experience of the emptiness. Okay, so now what happens is that in that state, afflictions to be abandoned by the path of seeing not there, and this mind is non-dual wisdom of emptiness, is so uncontaminated. Non-dual wisdom of emptiness is always uncontaminated. So this mind is uncontaminated. Okay, this mind is uncontaminated, but the person still has the defilements to be abandoned by the path of seeing. The innate afflictions are there. Innate afflictions to be abandoned by the path of meditation, they are still there within the person, right? The dormant latent. What are these innate? Okay, so it's the dormant latencies. But the person, this person, is he or she having any affliction, say the attachment, anger, manifest anger, attachment at that point? Why? Because they are in the non-dual, uncontaminated state. Afflictions means it's a contamination. So that mind is in an uncontaminated state. No affliction at all at that point. But then what about, he or she is yet to reach the path of meditation. So there are the mental defilements to be abandoned by the path of meditation still with that person. So they are not in the manifest state. They are in the form of latencies. You're getting it? They are not in the manifest state. You're getting it? Attachment, anger, jealousy, they are not at all in the manifest state when the person is in a non-dual wisdom of emptiness. But they are yet to be abandoned. The innate ones are yet to be abandoned. Right? So the person still has. In what form? Latencies, in the form of imprints, in the form of latencies, not in the form of manifest state. So it is in the form of latencies. Now where are these latencies? Hey? Huh? Mere I or the mind? Or the body?
No, it has to be.
Not on the body. Then on the mind?
Would be mental consciousness.
Mental consciousness? And the mental consciousness purely uncontaminated?
No,
right? It's not at all contaminated. You're getting it?
Yeah.
It is not at all contaminated. It is so pure. So if the stains are there, it's not pure. You're getting it? If the stains are there, it's not pure. So stains are there, but the mind is so pure, it must be there somewhere. So where? The mere I. You're getting it? It's not with the mind. So therefore, this mind is not always the carrier of these imprints. Whereas this mere I is always the carrier of the imprints. So therefore, the mind, when it is contaminated, it carries the imprints. When the mind is non-dual wisdom, uncontaminated, and then it does not serve as a carrier of the defiled imprints. So therefore, it is known as occasional in the basis of the imprint carrier. Okay. Dormant latencies, there are objects of abandonment of the path of meditation must exist. At that time, since the mental consciousness is uncontaminated, right? Mental consciousness is purely uncontaminated. How?
Because it's a non-dual.
That is totally non-dual. It is in the most purest form. It is uncontaminated. In that, it is not polluted by the latencies of mistaken dualistic appearance. Right? The dominant latencies would not be suitable to abide in this mind, since the sense consciousnesses are also not the basis. So, mental consciousness is not, because it's so pure, and sense consciousness never carries the imprints. The latencies would not be what? Sense consciousnesses are also not a basis for the dominant latencies, and physical form is not suitable as a basis for the dominant latencies, but also not asserting a mind basis. And then they also don't assert mind basis for all alivigyan, no alivigyan. They would not exist a basis for the dominant latencies. Then where is what's the basis for these imprints? So you cannot locate it other than the mere eye, right? Yeah. Response. There is no fault, because at that time the mere eye is the basis of the dominant latencies. They are the object of abandonment of the part of meditation. The other objects of abandonment and antidotes should also be understood similarly. Right? Okay. Okay. The auto commentary says, auto commentary, Acharya Chandra this text, when the uncommon way of positing Okay, so this is translation error. When uncommon way of positing, just delete this by. When the uncommon way of positing the person instead of people, person of this system is understood, then when a supramundane, uncontaminated mind becomes manifest in the continuum of the superiors, Aryas, who have been born in infinite space, infinite consciousness, and instead of nothingness, let's change it to vacuity. Nothingness can have a very different meaning. The vacuity, since there are no other mundane minds, they being migrating beings will be turned back. Okay, so one point. The first reason, very strong reason, was given as to about the uncontaminated part, and the second point, again a very strong point, this is which we need to know here, is that okay, say what are the how many levels are there for the part of, for the formless realm? Four realms are there, within subdivisions are there. What are four? Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and peak of existence. Peak of existence or peak of samsara. Okay. Four. What are they? Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and peak of samsara or peak of existence or peak of samsara. Okay. 4. Now what happens is that, okay, so these four, this is very important point. This is very important point. So generally speaking, these we have to learn in Abhisamalankara, when the detailed the explanation of the jhanas are explained, or the meditative concentrations are explained. But here, because we are doing this, the Madhyamaka Avatar first, unlike in the monastic universities. So we have to explain this first. The four realms within the formless realm, say these four, we see that how to make the mind subtler. How to make the mind subtler? I say basically the practitioner first, when they have the samadhi, and then the shamatha, vipassana, and the vipassana, don't mix this up. But the popular vipassana, 10-day vipassana course, this is different. It's a very specialized version. It's a very different connotation. Okay, so for this, after going through all these, then one goes through the different jhanas of different meditative concentration of the form realm. And all the form realm, what demarcates the form realm from the formless realm is that in the form realm, the object of these jhanas or of these meditative states, the object, they are physical objects, physical forms, and of course physical form that we have in the desire realm, when compared to the physical form that we have in the desire realm, the physical form there in the formless realm is much subtler, much subtler. Okay, say the even the mug, that is the same. Some items, some even mundane objects, like what? Electric kettle, or some the torchlight, which are locally made, and which are made from a very professional companies. You could see the difference, made in Japan and made in others, right? You can see the difference. There's a very subtle touch there, which is very subtle, and once you see what is made in Japan and then you see other things, it's so gross. Likewise, even the physical forms that you see in the fourth realm, the concentration realm, the first form realm. See that, and then you see the form that we see in the desire realm. What we see in the desire realm is so gross. So that would be actually very good for us to, don't just say when you go to a house, you see there's cushions there, okay, there's a cushion there, another one, there's also a cushion there, say made in Japan, oh, there's mobile there, made in something, oh, there's a mobile there. Don't just equate everything. See to the nuances, see to the differences in the subtlety. See to that, and then from there you can see that within the physical we see that some are very subtle, some there's what do you call it, how the perfectionists would expect things. Some people have the eyes of the perfectionists, right? And some people, they don't have these eyes. So we have to learn this. We have to learn this, how to have the perfectionist's eye, to see to the difference between, say, for example, just for the simple reasons, say, even amongst the mobiles, we see that some are very user-friendly and some is very complicated, right? And some websites, just open it and you can easily go into wherever you like, very easily. And some, you have no clue where to go, right? And then, okay, I don't want to specify the name, right? I asked somebody, okay, it's Tibet House, right? Tibet House website. I am supposed to be a staff of Tibet House, and I have the whole responsibility for that. And I asked, our website does not have this feature, right? And the person said, yes, it is there. But if I cannot see that, how can you expect other people who have no clue what Tibet House is, how can you expect them to see it? It is not to hide, right? I said, where is that? I said that we have to go like this, from this, then go to this. The person will have no clue how to go there, right? Until you give a very clear direction. Okay, from this, only this option A. From there you can go to, then automatically it takes you there. No, nothing of this kind. You have to go there only if you have some instruction there, right? So I said it is not to hide. If I don't know how to get there, how can you expect the people who have no clue what Tibet House is, how can you expect them to get there? And if they cannot get there, the purpose of the website is defeated. I said it. So what I'm saying is that these are the differences. Same with two, they're both websites. One is so user-friendly and other is so technical. You cannot get it there. It doesn't really serve the whole purpose. Likewise, there's a difference in the taste, very subtle taste of the even with the physical body. And then if you could see this difference there on the, say, in this world which we have direct access to, say, different between two mobiles, between two, even the prayer flags, right? Even the clothes, the stitching, the difference. When you see these, then from there you can infer many things, many spiritual things. Like, okay, what we see as so nice, physical, when we compare this to what I see there, physical of the first, the concentration, the first form realm, we see that what we have is so gross, so gross. And then those people, they feel detached to the desire realm for the grossness. Because of the grossness of the desire realm, of the physical forms, then they will switch to, they will meditate to go deeper into the mind, the mental qualities. And then the physical form that they acquire is very subtle. And within the four realms of the form realm, within the form realm, we see that again there's a difference in subtlety. Finally, we get to the fourth form realm. Then, fourth form realm, the physical form, that is the subtlest form. From the subtlest form, then what is next is, with the physical form, you cannot get anything which is subtler than that. So their job is to go beyond the physicality. They go to the space. Space is much subtler than the physical form. However subtle the physical form is, the space is much subtler. So these practitioners, when they see the grossness of the physicality, grossness of the physical form, then they move to the next jhana, next meditative state, to focus on the space. So the kind of meditation they employ is that in the preview of their mind, they view anything is just nothing but space, infinite space. So they stay in the meditation, they see that this is very subtle as compared to the earlier encounter, which was only the physical form. Then they stay there in the meditation. Then, again, when they are successful in this meditation, again they realize that this gross as compared to the consciousness. Space and your consciousness, space at least it is visible to your eyes, but the consciousness is not visible to your eyes. So they will switch from the space to the consciousness. They will switch to the space to the consciousness. And then when they're successful in this meditation, so the consciousness means, so your mind is the subject and your object is what? The consciousness, infinite consciousness. From the object of physical body as the object, you switch to the infinite space. Now from the infinite space, you switch to the infinite consciousness. And then infinite, even the consciousness is very gross as compared to no object. So they cut the object altogether. So that is a vacuity. So the subject is there, but the object is, they cut the object. They simply cut the object, they stay in this experience of the internal subject. So that is the vacuity. Vacuity meaning object is vacuum, no object there. Now where should they go? Object-wise, there's nothing to be done now. Now the only thing left is the subject. So they try to remove the subject, because to have the subject is gross as compared to not having the subject. But the subject cannot be reduced to zero, because subject is what? Your mind. And the mind exists endlessly. I won't say eternally, because this can bring the misunderstanding or misreading. Because the mind is eternal there, eternal nature, the mind cannot be gone rid of altogether. The subject cannot be gone rid of. So what they do is that they try to make the mind subtler. Okay, so the greatest of the success in that meditation is where the mind is brought to such a state where, say, the ordinary people looks at the person, it is a sort of person does not have a mind. Mind is too subtle that the ordinary people, other people, they cannot sense that there's a mind there. So this state is known as the peak of existence. The mind of peak of samsara, or peak of existence. So this experience of the mind, meditated equipoise, is known as meditated equipoise with and without discrimination. With and without discrimination. With, why with? Because there's a mind. As long as there's a mind, there should be a sense of discrimination, because discrimination is one of the 5 omnipresent mental factors. Any mind should necessarily be accompanied by these 5 omnipresent mental factors. What are the 5 omnipresent mental factors? Feeling, discrimination, intention, attention, contact. Okay, these 5 omnipresent mental factors must be there. So the discrimination is there. And to say that there's a discrimination, you don't see it unless you have a very refined meditative state. You cannot feel that presence of discrimination. So it is known as without discrimination. With and without discrimination. Okay, now one thing that we need to know is that this mind, as a mind, goes from one state of meditative state, from the meditative state of the desire realm, to the meditative state of the form realm, to the meditative state of the infinite consciousness, infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and a peak of existence. What happens is that the mind becomes subtler, 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 subtler. Right? Okay. I don't know how true that is. The water, the drinking water, there's one apparatus which tests the purity of the water, right? And then what is the unit? Say between 70 to 100 is drinkable, 70 to 80, 90 is drinkable, and it hits 90, 100, it's not too healthy to drink, right? And then it crosses 200, 300, it can really destroy your body. And it says that when it is too clean, again it's not good, right? When the index of the unit, it falls, say, range of 60, 50, 60, 70, 80 is drinkable. And then when it goes down to 10, 15, again it's not healthy, right? Then you will have diarrhea. All this is happening when you drink this water. This is what I learned. Okay, so no matter how accurate that is, I have no clue. The point that I'm trying to share with you here is that as the mind, from the mind of the desire realm to the form realm to the infinite space, consciousness, vacuity, peak of existence, as the mind, goes into this transition from the lowest to the highest, what happens is that the freshness of the mind, the activity of the mind, the acuity of the mind, activeness of the mind. So the graph is like, okay, so initially it's very down, 0. From there, then it starts climbing up like this. Then at a certain point, particularly when you reach the fourth desire realm, the form realm, the fourth concentration, fourth level of the form realm, fourth one. So that's a peak, and from there then it starts declining. The activeness, the freshness of the mind, even though it is become subtler, but then the quality declines, right? Quality declines. Mind becomes, so at a certain point it shoots up in the clarity, alertness of the mind, freshness of the mind, and then when you reach the fourth of the form realm, so that reaches the peak, and then when you enter into the formless, then it starts climbing down. The freshness, alertness, and activeness. The mind keeps on, say, this is this subtlety, right? This is subtlety, and that is the freshness and the activeness of the mind. X exists and the Y exists, right? Okay, what is X? What is Y? Horizontal X, and the Y is vertical. Okay, X, Y, right? So X exists, it is the subtlety, And the no, exegesis is subtlety. No, subtlety. No. Huh? No, the different realms. Huh? Okay, it's a subtlety. It's a subtlety. Subtlety. No, subtlety. Subtlety. And the y-axis is the activeness of the mind, freshness, activeness of the mind. You're getting it? So as it goes towards the other end of x-axis from 0, going to the other end, it becomes subtler, 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 subtler. But as it becomes subtler, doesn't mean that it becomes sharper, 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 sharper. It can, first it goes up, sharpness, alertness, freshness of the mind goes up, climbs up. It becomes more and more sharp, more and more alert, more and more fresh. And then at which point?
Fourth concentration of the form.
Fourth concentration of, or in other words, the fourth concentration of the form realm, fourth level. So there is the peak, and then from there it declines, right? It slowly declines. Then when it reaches the subtlest, which is subtlest? Peak of existence. Peak of the subtlest, the mind becomes very dull, extremely dull. Extremely dull. So the bodhisattvas are not keen on that. Not keen on that. Not only bodhisattvas, Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, when they reach that level, in fact the Pratik Buddhas and Shravakas, they cannot use this mind, peak of existence, the mind of the peak of existence, because it's so dull that it cannot be used to see emptiness directly. To see emptiness directly, the mind must be very sharp and very active. So because the mind of the peak of existence is very dull, it cannot be employed by the Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas to see the emptiness directly. So because it cannot be employed to see emptiness directly, for them to achieve the nirvana, the last moment of the mind should be non-dual wisdom. So that mind, even though they have achieved that level, the mind of the peak of existence, they will not use that mind. And those who are born there, Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, who are born in the formless realm, peak of existence level, their mind, which is most easily accessible for them, is the mind of the peak of existence. But they cannot use their mind to see emptiness directly for them to achieve nirvana. So they use the mind of the lower realm, which is what's the immediate lower? Vacuity. The mind of the vacuity, meditative concentration of the vacuity. So they use that mind in order to achieve the nirvana. Right? Okay. So this one thing that we need to keep in mind. You're getting it? Same as they fall in the sutra system, as the mind becomes subtler, 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 then initially it climbs up in terms of the freshness and sharpness of mind, and then at a certain point it starts climbing down. This is according to the sutra system. Then using the techniques employed in Tantra, as the mind becomes subtler, 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 the mind becomes forever sharper, 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 clearer, clearer, clearer. This is the difference. You're getting it? Say the meditative techniques employed in sutra system, if you use them, then so these meditative techniques are common between the Buddhists and the Hindu practitioners, and I would say other traditions, particularly these are very maintained, so vital in the various traditions, even the Jain, right? So that is something which is shared between the Sutra system of Buddhism, then the Vedanta tradition, and the Samkhya, I don't think so nowadays, and then the Shaivites and the Vaishnavites are there, and then the Jainism there. So there is much more same. So this is the same tradition, is so rich there. Now what is employed in Tantra, and I cannot speak on behalf of the non-Buddhist Tantra. I learned that in Jainism also has Tantra, but of course in Vedanta and other traditions, Vedanta I'm not too sure. But within the classical Indian traditions, non-Buddhist traditions, there were the tantras there, so I cannot speak on their behalf. I don't know. But from the Buddhist Tantra, as the mind, a successful practitioner, as the mind becomes subtler, 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 as you go from zero, this, what do you call that? Exists. X exists. From, and as you move from zero to infinity, as the mind moves to the subtler form, the mind becomes clearer, 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 away from the dullness. It becomes more and more clear, instead of becoming more and more dull. So this is something so unique about tantric practice. Okay, now in this connection we have to say the next point, very strong point, which Lama Tsongkhapa is bringing up as to why the mental continuum is considered as the occasional basis of the imprint carrier, and why the mirror eye is known as the durable basis of the imprint carrier. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. And before we close this, yesterday, in fact, I made this announcement. So those of us who were absent yesterday, I'll make a quick announcement. Okay, we have Pravinji here, and we have Uttamji here. Okay, Pravinji and Uttamji here. So they are from the Sangha, and the Pravinji, most of you know from Deer Park. So today he came as the Sangha representative, not as okay. So as the Sangha representative. So why I'm introducing two of you here is that His Holiness is going to give a teaching in Sangha, the holy place of Sangha, December 3rd, 4th, 5th, for 3 days. Teaching is happening there. And so this Sangha, unfortunately many people, they don't know the significance of this place, this holy place. This is incredibly, the holy place, this is considered one of the 8 most sacred places of the Buddha, pertaining to Buddha. And this is place, in what way it is sacred and holy is that the Buddha Shakyamuni, in order to repay the kindness of his mother, Maya Devi, the mother, he went to the Deva realm to give teachings to his mother, who took birth there. And then so there the Buddha resided for 3 months, monsoon retreat, 3 months there. And after the retreat, after completion 3 months, then he descended on the earth. So the Sangha is the place where the Buddha descended on earth from the heaven. Okay, so that is extremely important, the holy place, and His Holiness is going to give a teaching there. And the Mr. Pravinji and Mr. Pravinji's the uncle, Uttamji, 2 of them are here, and Mr. Pravinji's uncle, Mr. Sureshji, who is the one, he's the one who is the backbone of all this. Is just like a family taking care of all this big event, and there is no ulterior motive. It's purely to make His Holiness the Dalai's teachings available to the local people there, people who are, say, the same Buddhists, who are the clan is known as the Shakya clan from the time of the Buddha. They have been Buddhists, and at the moment they apply this little financially weak, is a very remote village, and a number of villages there who belong to this category. So they are doing such the incredible Herculean task of bringing about like 1 lakh people there, connecting 1 lakh people there with His Holiness the Dalai Lama's teachings. So and then of course His Holiness has been so kind, because seeing the plight of the situation there, and just one family taking this huge responsibility, and so His Holiness was extremely kind. He is extremely kind to support them financially by sponsoring the food for all the people there. 1 lakh people, all the attendees of the people will get food for 3 days, sponsored by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then of course, not just that, there are many other financial implications involved, like the tents. And then so all these 1 lakh people, and they don't have the guest house to accommodate 1 lakh people there, so the people are going to actually sleep there, and then they need the mattresses, and they need the quilts, the blankets and so forth. So they are actually doing a little bit of fundraising for that matter. So in whatever capacity that you can be of, generally speaking, Tibet House, we never do any kind of fundraising. We never promote any kind of fundraising, because this is something which really deserves to be held. So anyone who is interested, otherwise there are so many NGOs who are doing wonderful jobs, and then the moment we say Tibet House, we talk about fundraising there, then people may think that, okay, now what happened to diploma course, not the master's course, they're becoming the fundraising avenue. So this is what we don't really encourage, but this is a very unique situation where just one family is taking care of all these 1 lakh people, and to connect them to the teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And these people are all financially little, say they have difficulty. So for that matter, they need help. So I'd like to request Mr. Praveenji and Uttamji to come up here, and Mr. Praveenji to explain a little bit about the program, and then whatever you like to say about this. And then the posters, whatever you have, you can, yeah.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. So really, we are really privileged, and we are really blessed. We have Geshe-la here, and Geshe-la is kindly, I think he has already mentioned everything, so I don't have to say much. And we got a special permission from Geshe-la and Tibet House and the staff here to share about Sankasya. As you Geshe-la clearly mentioned that I'm representing the Sankasya people today here in Deer Park. It's an organization called Youth Buddhist Society of India. It is a voluntary organization. Mr. Sureshji, he is my uncle basically. He established this organization in 1986. So basically, we have been trying to revive the basically Buddha's teaching in our area, and we have been inviting so many teachers from all traditions, from Theravada traditions, from Mahayana tradition, Tibetan traditions. So we have been receiving teachers, and we have been bringing teachers in different villages. We have been conducting the teaching under the tree, and with farmers only. So this is how we have been trying to work. So after inviting so many teachers, after really working hard, we had a great honor to have His Holiness Dalai Lama Ji with us in 2015 also. That was the first time His Holiness went to Sankasya. And that time around 50,000 people attended His Holiness teachings. They benefited from His Holiness teachings. And when I remember very well, we had lunch together with His Holiness, and His Holiness said, yes, this is thank you so much for organizing this teaching. This is the biggest gathering I have ever seen, and the biggest gathering of Indian people basically, who came to listen to this teaching. There is huge potential there in Sankasya. And so we said, His Holiness, please come again. He said, yes, but if you invite, I will come. So this time we had great opportunity again. We requested His Holiness. Immediately he said yes. And we are going to have His Holiness on 3rd, 4th and 5th December. His Holiness will arrive on 2nd December, and he will leave on 6th. When teachings are for 3 days, as Geshe-la mentioned also, the subject is Bodhicharya Avatara. So as Geshe-la said, we are really, because last time it was really difficult for us to accommodate more and more people, because we had a smaller venue, and we put the tents in the potato fields, where we don't have a big kind of setup there. So we will put up the same tents there, and people will, His Holiness will give teachings there in the daytime, and in the night everybody will sleep there in the tents itself. So it's a winter time, it's a bank of river, potato fields there, so we need to really put everything, we have to organize everything in there. So as you can understand, like we really need a lot of support here. We need a lot of volunteers also. At the moment we have 500 volunteers already. They are running from one village to another village, one door to another door. They are really filling up everyone's form. The registration is going on. So we really hope we will have this receive it very successfully organized, and by the blessing of Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Gurus, we will really organize this event successfully. This is our kind of wish. And since all of you know about Sankasya, so on behalf of Sankasya, on behalf of the organization, on behalf of the organizing committee, it's my privilege and my honor to invite all of you. So if you have time, please come to Sankasya, and you can support us by being a volunteer with us also. And because many of you are really very experienced people who have been basically in Dharma for many years, and really if you come, we will get different kind of energy and kind of guidance from all of you. So please come to Sankasya.
And the posters?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so the posters, you can get the posters, and for any financial support that you like to be made, from the posters you will know where to contact.
Yeah, we have already we have donation receipts here. You can make any offering if you want. Otherwise, you can also transfer online. And if you transfer online, please immediately write us an email that I have made an offering, so that we can track it, because we don't have net banking system. Most of the time there is no electricity also there. So every time we have to go to the bank and print, and then we will see who has donated. So if you will let us know, then we can see, we can track, so that we can prepare the receipts accordingly. And yes.
Okay, and then as a way to contact and so forth, the Uttamji and Praveenji will distribute the posters there at the gate.
Yes.
At the gate, and so please pick that up. And in whatever capacity that are going to be help financially, that would be greatly appreciated. It's not necessary today, anytime. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Praveenji. Thank you, Uttamji. And thank you, all of you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, quick dedication. Page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful charity Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Kare Rabe Gorbe Jingamzo, Penande Wa Male Chomben, Chere Senwa Tenzin Gyatso Ye, Shabe Zede Badu Dengyuroji. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samadbhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. Chambale Bhave Chitara Kemba Dang Kundu Sambo Tenyan Dejen Keda Gunge Jesu Nalobjin Gewa Deda Damje Rabdumu. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praise is the best by the victorious ones thus go on the 3 times. Noble Bodhisattvas days. Duzum Jebe Gyawa Tamje Ge Mowa Kala Choto Mabad Dage Gebe Zawa Degun Gyang Sambo Cheche Rabdo Mobareke. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen in rising grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanju Semju Rembo Che Age Pana Ke Gyoro Che Ke Vanyamba Me Baya Kone space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of the teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, by making inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of Buddha, Dharma, and the beings in the snow land. With the Lord is sold to Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. Tonye Nyenje Zondo Joga Lam, Chejele Selze Kanje Dendrub, Chana Bemo Tenzin Gyatso La, Soa Devzo Shendo Dendrub Shon. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who help by menace through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the power of the truth of the rituals. Olam nobe gyave demba la kuve najo sujen sumede samjur nyembe juba maduba chosum dembe zeni chu guruchi. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, may I could attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of independent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, see you on Sunday.